Disney is in huge trouble financially. They're finally coming crashing down. They've been lying about their earnings on Disney Plus, and now even their movies are failing miserably with Wakanda Forever. And now bombs like Strange World, I think, is going to be more to come similar to this in the future because of the propaganda that Disney has been pushing, and because of the people finally waking up to this propaganda and saying enough is enough and not supporting Disney with this very weird woke stuff that they're doing with stuff like Strange World, Wakanda Forever, Marvel, Star Wars, you name it. They're pushing this weird propaganda that people just don't want their kids consuming anymore. Let's check it out. So like I said, this isn't an isolated event. Strange World is going to be a sign for things to come in the future, and we're already seeing things come out about Bob Chapek's time as CEO and him cooking the books to make Disney Plus look a lot more profitable than it actually was. Bob Chapek was lying about Disney's profits, and I wouldn't be shocked. I think that we probably already kind of know in the back of our heads that they have lied previously when it comes to their box office numbers, or at least inflated them in some kind of way, whether they bought a bunch of tickets to see the movie or whether they just straight up lied about the numbers. But we do know one thing that they for sure lie about, and one thing that is for sure manipulated by these big studios, especially Disney, because they're the main culprits when it comes to this kind of thing. We see Santa Inc. and the He-Man show by Kevin Smith. We've seen things like that where they freeze the Rotten Tomato scores and then all of a sudden they jump up by 10%, mysteriously jump up. But here we have Strange World, which is pushing some really weird propaganda, some gay characters in a children's movie, very, controversial. 74% critic score, 64% audience score, and you can see by this Variety article here, Disney's Strange World to lose $100 million in theatrical run, and that's on the low end. I saw Deadline predicted they were going to lose $150 million, and other people are predicting that it could be $200 million plus in losses for Strange World. Now that's huge. That's huge losses, hundreds of millions of dollars in losses for a Disney movie, a Disney animated movie, back to their roots. This is kind of where Disney is supposed to thrive. They're supposed to do really well in their animated movies. And if I'm being honest with you, most of the time, their animated movies do exceed my expectations. But it's clear to me, and it should be clear to Disney now, that people are tired of pushing this propaganda. It's one thing to push it in the Marvel movies and the Star Wars movies. It's one thing to push it to adults. But when you start pushing it to children as well, that's when people draw the line. That's when parents are like, I'm not letting my kid see this movie. I'm definitely not taking my kid to see this movie, because I don't want to influence them in that sort of way. I don't want Disney, especially, influencing them in that sort of way, because we all know the evil that Disney's capable of. We all know that, we all know, man. I don't need to go through it again. I've gone through it too many times. We all know the evil that Disney is capable of, and if you don't know, you should probably look it up, or maybe I'll talk about it more in the future if you really do want to know all the deep dark secrets behind Disney. Stop making everything sexual. Americans slammed Disney for trying to teach kids about sexual preferences in its first cartoon with gay main character, as a $180 million movie starring Jake Gyllenhaal bombs at the box office. That's the thing. That is exactly. This should be a blueprint for how to lose money at the box office. When you make things, like I said, when you put it in Marvel, when you put it in Star Wars, it's one thing, because those are, teenagers, adults watching those movies, not so much 8-year-olds watching Star Wars and Marvel, even though there are some, but there's going to be like 5 and 6-year-olds watching Strange World, and it's teaching kids about sexual preferences, and it has a gay main character. And I guess I'm not going to watch it, obviously. I don't care enough about watching this movie to actually sit down and watch an hour and 45 minutes of Strange World. But if it has a gay main character, and it's a theme of this movie, a main theme of this movie is the gay main character, is the fact that the main character is gay. Because that's not, the thing is, having a gay main character isn't inherently going to lose you money at the box office. That's not what loses the money. It's when that's the main focus of the movie, is teaching kids about sexual preferences and having the main character be gay. If that's the main focus of the movie, that's where you could run into issues. That's where parents, at least, 50% of the country, probably more like 75% of the country, is going to be like, you know what? I don't actually want my kids to learn about that when they're 6 years old. I don't think that's very responsible of me to let my kid go see that. That's how you lose money at the box office right there. And these studios have cracked the code, truly. I saw something about Destiny, the video game, yesterday, where they had a cutscene that ended their season with 2 men kissing. And everybody knows the player base of Destiny is dropping really hard. The game is somewhat dying right now, but then they have 2 men kiss in their ending cutscene, and everyone is praising them. Everyone's saying Destiny is the best game ever. I even quote tweeted a couple of the tweets because I knew that people weren't going to believe me when I said that. But people are saying Destiny is back now because two men kiss at the end of the cutscene. These studios just have to put out mediocre content at best. They don't even have to do that. They can put out lackluster content, but as long as they have some of that woke propaganda, as long as they have some gayness inside of it, it's going to be praised by the left. So all they have to do is do the bare minimum, if that, and as long as they put in some of that wokeness, they'll be fine. They'll be the best ever. Destiny's the best game ever now because they had two men kiss in the ending cutscene. It's the same thing with Disney, except people are finally starting to wake up to it. And with Disney, it's not enough to only have 25% of the country even willing to go see your movie. You have to have at least, 65% being willing to go see your movie, especially when it's targeted at kids, because you're already alienating the adult audiences from going see it themselves. 35-year-old men with no kids aren't going to go see this movie, at least I hope not, by themselves. You know what I'm saying? They only go see that movie if they have children that want to go see it. And when there's these weird themes in there, they're not going to bring their kids to see the movie. And you're going to get 150 million, 180 million, possibly even over $200 million losses like this one. Disney has another flop on its hands as the animated adventure Strange World proves a dud at the box office, and moviegoers criticize it for what they see as forcing progressive ideology in a children's movie. The cartoon, starring a voice cast including Jake Gyllenhaal, Dennis Quaid, Gabrielle Union, and Lucy Liu, features Daily Show contributor, I'm not even going to say that, as the voice of what's been heralded as Disney's first openly gay character. Strange World looks set to not even clear 20 million at the Thanksgiving weekend box office on a gargantuan budget of $120 to $130 million. It may even finish below the studio's 2002 flop, Treasure Planet, which grossed just $16.6 million. The film also appears to have tanked with audiences despite mildly positive critical reactions. Yeah, like I showed you on Rotten Tomatoes, the scores aren't horrible, but we already know how the Rotten Tomatoes works. They're not truly a good gauge of what's good and what's bad and what's liked and what's not liked. We all know that they doctor those results, especially when it's a Disney movie, especially when it's the bigger studios that actually run things. Rotten Tomatoes doctors those results. While the movie has a 73% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, it's only 60% with audiences, and the film has a B rating on CinemaScore from opening day audiences, according to The Wrap, blah, blah, blah. First, Lightyear. Yeah, Lightyear was another one. That was just, like I said, it's a snowball, man. If you keep letting them get away with it, they're going to keep getting more and more woke. They're going to keep pushing more and more propaganda, more indoctrination in these movies. Thank God people are finally starting to wake up to this, I hope. I lost hope for a while that they just would never wake up and that it would just keep getting worse and worse and people would keep just feeding their pockets, just giving them money over and over. Maybe they're finally waking up. Maybe these bots are finally starting to get deprogrammed. I don't know, man. Disney and Pixar releasing woke flops one after the other. How many box office bombs before Disney learns? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know if they will ever learn. I don't know if there's some kind of, maybe somebody's pulling the strings behind the scenes where they just don't care how much money they lose as long as they're pushing this propaganda, they'll win. I don't know what the case is, but I don't know if they'll ever learn. I don't know if, I think they have already learned. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that if they haven't learned by now, they will never learn. I truly think they have learned and they just don't care for whatever reason. Disney's new movie Strange World, shout out to Eric July, is flopping at the box office, earning less than $24 million over 5 days against its $180 million budget. Mainstream creatives don't care about these projects being successful as long as they spite the audience and their ideological enemies. That's what I'm saying. But I think there's a bigger entity at play here. I think there's somebody pulling the strings behind Disney and saying, it doesn't matter if you lose profits, we got you covered. Just keep pushing this propaganda. So yeah, get woke, go broke. We all know the story. Let me know what you guys think about Strange World flopping extremely hard at the box office and why you think it is flopping. Personally, I think it's the woke propaganda, and I think it's pretty obvious that it is, but let me know why you think it's flopping. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and all that good stuff, and I hope to see you on the next one.